Okay,
Hello.
something I want about your language. It's me, was in Maharashtra. Instead of diversity of money, can you I have very special tips for point. So let's welcome him in our good. Hello, Paul. How are you? Hello, Paul. How are you?
Oh, I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I am so fine. Thank you so much, Paul, for joining. Thank you so much for joining us and giving your special time.
I think your signal is still breaking up, I'm
Okay,
afraid.
so first of all, I have requested you to please share introduction with us. Please share introduction with us.
If you have a question
Paul.
to ask me, if you have a question to ask me, please type it into the chat.
Okay, please share your introduction. Yes.
Oh, all right. Hello, my name is Paul Bowen. I'm 81 years old, married with 2 children and 2 grandchildren. I live in Denver, Colorado, which is in the southwest part of the United States. I am retired. I used to teach. Mostly I taught college, but for a while I taught in a high school. And I think of myself as a philosopher because I like to talk about philosophical things. And on my Facebook, you can see that. I guess that's the basics. That's my answer.
Okay, Paul, that's really great for telling us more about you. Okay, thank you, Paul. And so now we have our questions. Okay, so my first question is that how philosophy helps people negative moral challenge?
Well, that's a very good question. I like to think that can be helpful because it can help people to clarify their thinking, and especially in difficult times when your life is turning into a difficult path, it's sometimes difficult to maintain a clear head. And uh, I think philosophy can help that to happen. And philosophy can talk about values, morality, and things like that would be relevant to trying to navigate uh, the world. It wouldn't be so useful for technical things. It's not about how to use a computer or something like that, but it's about fundamental values and life strategies. So that's my answer.
Okay, now can you tell me what inspired you to pursue philosophy as a career and field of study?
Yes, well, there was a particular event that was important. I was in college, and I it was my freshman year, and I had a chance to choose one subject. And so I looked at the alternatives, and I saw that philosophy was one choice. And I didn't then really know what philosophy was. I think I was a little confused. I thought philosophy was like psychology. But I took it just to find out, maybe. Excuse me. And so then I began to get the idea of what philosophy was. And in particular, one day the teacher put up on a blackboard a thing called a truth table. It would take a little too long to explain exactly what a truth table is, but it has to do with logic. And I was amazed because I had never thought of such a thing. And then my mind took hold of that, and a whole new horizon opened up for me about logic. And so that was very inspiring. And so that's, if I had to point to one particular incident, that would probably be it. In a more general way, I continue to study philosophy and to try to create philosophy because I think, in a way, philosophy is the most important subject because philosophy deals with values. And you might have a lot of technical learning and scientific learning or history or whatever, but maybe at the end of your life, you decided that your goals have been wrong. So you used all this technical knowledge to pursue a goal that you think was not a good one. So it's philosophy that talks about what kind of goals might be good goals and what kind of a life might be a good life. So for that reason, uh, I continue with philosophy, and also philosophy considers the question of what a good society is. So if you want to try to change your society or to hold on to it, you could decide either way. But philosophy might help you to make that decision. So that's my answer.
What are the biggest misconceptions about philosophy?
Hmm. Well, I think people underestimate how uh, if you're serious about philosophy, you have to do a lot of studying. You want to see what the philosophers of the past have said and to be able to think critically about that. And then you want to be a little bit creative. Some people seem to think that if they can say, okay, I'm going to be a philosopher now, right, and start discussing these issues without having seen what other people have said about them, and the stuff they come up with is, as you might expect, not very good. So they think that all it takes to have a philosophy is just to have some opinions about things. And I suppose that is a kind of philosophy, but if you want to do a really good job of it, you have to think things through and know what other people have said about it. And that's just as hard as any other discipline. Uh, so, if people just started up, well, here's my idea about science, people would say, well, that's not it. You have to study science. You can't just make it up. But people kind of feel that sometimes I think that they can just make up philosophy, and that's just as good as any philosophy. But I don't think it usually is. So that's my answer. Thank you.
Yes, that's really great. And yes, you are right. Thank you so much for this great answer. And thank you again. So now my next question is that which philosopher works you admire most and why?
Hmm. Well, I don't champion people. I don't think about people in philosophy. I think about the ideas. So, but given that, uh, it's hard to say. You know, I don't really have a favorite philosopher or anything like that. But I do admire the philosopher Bertrand Russell. He was an English philosopher, and he he did some very strict and difficult work in logic and mathematics, which shows me that he's a very intelligent person and very serious. And there's a philosophy of mathematics which says what is mathematics really, and he worked in that. But he also got involved in political things, and he also wrote books to help people. What nowadays we would call a self-help book, maybe. But these books would say, you know, here's how to be happy, here's how to have a good life, and they were aimed at ordinary people. And I think that's very interesting. Not all philosophers take the time to write books that are aimed at ordinary people. They write for other philosophers about minor technical points a great deal of the time. So I have always admired Bertrand Russell for that. That's my answer. Thank you.
Okay, then that's really great. So now my next question is that now can you tell me what quality makes a great philosopher? Can you hear me?
Yes, but I wish you would type it into the chat so that I can read it.
Okay, one second, please. I'll check it. Yes, all right. Okay.
Okay.
What quality
I got
makes
it.
a great
I got it.
philosopher?
Thanks. Yes. What qualities make a great philosopher? Um, I think maybe the important thing is that you love to do philosophy. It's not so important to have a high IQ or great learning
Yeah.
as it is to be really passionate about philosophy, wanting to do it, wanting to make progress, to say something new that hasn't been said, or to, well, something new and something profound, something that its truth makes a difference. Lots of truths are true but trivial, and a great philosopher takes on issues that are very, very important. And so to be determined to do that, I think to have the passion for philosophy is more important than having a high IQ. It's more important than being very intelligent. It doesn't hurt to be very intelligent, but the important thing I think is that you have this passion for philosophy. That's my answer.
Okay, now my next question is that what do you learn from your high school years?
Hmm. Well, I learned. I didn't study philosophy then. They didn't in my high school. They didn't have philosophy courses. Uh, but so they gave me the basics. You know, a certain amount of math. I guess it was algebra mostly, and geometry, and history, and what they used to call civics, which is, how does the government work? How does the United States society work? And a bit of science. And all in all, it was pretty good. I mean, I'm looking back on it. I think I didn't appreciate at the time how good it was. Uh, I had some problems following everything, but even, but now looking back on it, I appreciate my teachers much more. I also discovered that it depends where you go. See, first I went to high school in New York, and then that's a state on the eastern coast. And then we moved to Illinois, which is a Midwestern state. And I realized that the second year of algebra in Illinois didn't have anything that wasn't already in the first year in New York. So I realized, and I still believe, it's very important to have some kind of standards in high school to guarantee that the students are getting as much as they can handle. That's a bit of digression. I apologize for it, but it was very striking to me at the time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for answering. So now my question is that what does success mean to you?
Uh, I think success means being a good person. If you are a good person, you have succeeded. And that's it, I guess. So that's my answer.
Okay, Paul, my this next question is that how can philosophy help young people today?
Well, I think if you can take a course in it, I mean, some high schools will have courses in philosophy, and someday I have a dream that someday even lower grades will have philosophy, will have very simple philosophical ideas to get kids started in thinking about philosophy. Um, and I think my answer is pretty much the same as I said I think it was your first question, that philosophy can help you to clarify your thinking and to make it rigorous. Uh, it's interesting that in this country, at least, people who are studying law, the people who are teachers in law, like it when the student has taken philosophy courses, because philosophy teaches you to reason strictly, and lawyers also are supposed to reason strictly. And so, in that sense, lawyers and philosophers have something in common, I think. Uh, but that's the important thing, the skill of reasoning well and being clear, I think, are things that anyone can learn by studying philosophy. But you can't study it just by memorizing this philosophy first said this and this philosopher said that. You have to think about it. You have to say, well, do I really agree with this? Uh, and think maybe this person is wrong. It's not like mathematics. In mathematics, you just learn what the answers are for the most part. You don't think, well, is this really true? Because they have a proof. You look at the proof, and the proofs are usually perfectly good. Uh, but in philosophy, we don't have nice proofs the way we have in mathematics. Sometimes some philosophers have tried very hard, and I think they've made some progress in trying to have the same kind of clarity and rigor that you have in philosophy. I'm sorry, that you have in mathematics. But at the present time, we haven't reached the same level. So it's very important to think
Mhm.
critically about that. And that's very important in itself to be able to think critically, because then if a politician says something to you, you can think critically about it. Uh, or if somebody else says something to you, you don't have to just accept it. You can think about it. Well, am I really? Is there really evidence enough that I should believe this, or isn't there? And I think that's one of the most important skills in life, because people are always after you to tell you what to believe, right? And so, and not all of them have your best interests at heart, right? And so it's very important to be able to critically
Yeah.
evaluate the stuff that comes to you. That's my answer. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much for also, the last, please tell me what message would you like to share with the world?
Hmm. Well, I first of all, I think the world is in big trouble, and we have war, and these wars are getting, the weapons are becoming more and more powerful, and we have a problem with the climate, uh, and with species extinction and resource depletion, and I see democracy in the world is in danger, which is would be unfortunate, because I think democracy, when it's real democracy, it's a good thing. I also think that human beings could live without war. So I say let's have one world, not lots of little nations who go to war with each other or who compete with each other, but we'll have just one world. And in this world, humans can flourish. They can, have a good life, but they should flourish more or less equally. So I call that egalitarian flourishing. And this should be sustainable. It shouldn't be just for a moment of egalitarian flourishing, but it should continue. And so I call that egalitarian flourishing over time. And this is what I advocate. Uh, and so that would be my basic message. Let's have egalitarian flourishing over time. That's what I would say. Thank you. That's my answer.
Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you. For, so, thank you so much, everyone, for watching this video. Nowadays, and it's YouTube and yeah, talked a lot, yeah, about a lot of things. So, thank you for thank you so much for joining us. With today, please thank you everyone. Thank you for watching this video all. If you have any questions, so please ask me.
Uh, I didn't really. I'm sorry. I didn't really follow what you said. Can you compress it into a small a short thing and type it?
Okay, let's end this video. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye
Or you
bye.
want me to ask you a question?
Yes, if you have any questions, please.
Oh, that's very interesting. No one has asked me this. Well, let me ask you the same thing you asked me. What message would you like to share with the world?
Uh, I can't type that. Please write on chat. I think. write this in chat.